When you get your hands on Callaway's Rogue driver, you are already getting a driver that's engineered for power. This triaxial carbon crown here, the thin face braced by the jailbreak bars, the big drawn out titanium sole that houses precise weighting. But you also have quite a bit of adjustability in terms of loft and lie thanks to this ingenious OptiFit hosel right here. So let's go ahead and show you how to adjust the settings on your Rogue driver to best suit your game. Now first of all, let's look at the opening and locking mechanisms of the hosel screw here. To open or loosen the screw, simply put your adjustment wrench, which comes with the club, into the top of the screw and turn anti-clockwise to open. Conversely, to tighten the screw, you just turn it clockwise. Now when the screw is fully tightened, it makes an audible click sound to let you know the sleeve is safely in place, it's safe to go out and play with, and it helps you prevent over tightening. It's something like this. There we go. Now before we open this driver, let's look at some of the markings on the hosel. Now this is a 9-degree driver you'll see here. Below the number 9 you'll see a little hyphen line just here. And at the very bottom there's another little hyphen or hatch line there. In between those lines then you have what's called a top cog and you have a bottom cog, and this top and bottom cogs, they have letters and numbers on them. The factory or default setting is S for stated loft on the lower cog, in this case it's 9 degrees, and N or neutral setting, so it's standard loft, perfectly square. Now the golden rule, or one of the golden rules when adjusting the OptiFit hosel, is to have these little lines lined up at all times when your driver, your head and your shaft are solid on the driver. Have these lines matched up. So let's go ahead and open the shaft screw. Takes a good few turns to get it open, bear with me, but when fully opened, the head and the shaft can be easily removed. Keep turning, keep turning, keep turning. And when you, there we go, when you do, you can remove the head. You'll notice these cogs, top and bottom, can move independently of each other, and they represent some of the different loft and lie options you can choose. You can add up to 2 degrees of loft, and you can go 1 degree lower. Then for each loft, you have 2 choices. You can choose a neutral setting or D for draw setting. The key to the setting of the OptiFit hosel is to focus on finding your desired loft first. It's quite strange, but it's part of its ingenuity that S for stated or standard loft and +1, they are on the bottom cog, and then -1 degrees and +2 degrees, they are on the top cog. So let's say, for instance, I want to hit this driver a little higher and bring the spin up a little. I want to add 1 degree of loft. So in that case, I will go to the bottom cog and I'll find +1. There it is on the bottom cog. I'm going to line that up with my little hyphen mark and hold it in place with my fingers. I can then spin this top cog and I'll find it's like a little jigsaw. 2 settings will fit, N for neutral or D for draw. So in this case, I'm going to choose the N. So with those in place, my hyphens lined up, I've now added a degree of loft and kept the setting neutral. I simply close up my driver, I'm ready to go. For instance then, if I wanted to flight the ball a little lower and reduce the spin, say I want to lower loft by 1 degree. So I would first find the -1 degree setting, and that's on the top cog here. Where is it? There it is on the top cog. I'm going to line it up with the hyphen on the bottom, like so. And then I'm going to spin the bottom cog, and again I can choose D for draw or N for neutral. So just say I wanted to lower loft and set it up for a draw. So I've got -1 and D lined up with my hyphen, and then I can reattach the head, close up the club, and I'm good to go. That is basically how you adjust your Rogue driver. And it is worth your while having a play with the different settings to really appreciate how clever it is. You can change the trajectory and the shot shape on what is already set up to be one of the longest drivers out there. And it's very important to remember, you can adjust your driver on the range before or after a round, but just not during a competitive round. I'm going to go ahead and close this up. For me for now, it's done out.